Live. Today we have a special guest from the Delusional Podcast. It's Corey. Welcome to the
Hey,
show.
what's up? How are you, my friend?
Yeah, pretty good. How's it going there?
Oh, hanging out, hunting elephants, stuff like that.
Nice. So today I wanted to talk about movies, one of my favorite things, and maybe we can share different movie lines from movies and see if we recognize them. Like, what are some
Ooh.
favorite lines from movies that you like?
So, I've been asked that before just by friends, over the years. And my absolute favorite movie line is very simple. Fuck them if they can't take a joke.
Hmm, I don't
Where do you.
recognize that one.
Come on.
Um, I don't know.
So, it was John Travolta in the 90s in the movie Broken Arrow. You
Hmm.
cannot fathom how gangster a man is as he's setting up a nuclear warhead. He's a terrorist. He's going to just set this nuke off, right, and obliterate everything. As they're closing in on him, he he has, I think, I don't remember what the timer was, but it was like 5 minutes, right, before it explodes. He changes it down to it's about to go off. And as he's typing it in, which means he's risking his life as well if he can't clear the blast. So he says, you know what? Fuck them if they can't take a joke. And then he arms the nuke to go off immediately.
Hmm.
How
Wow, I never heard of
gangster.
that movie. That's
Oh, you
cool.
got to look it up. You got to watch it. It's a great movie. Still my favorite of
Yeah,
all time.
I feel like a lot of movies are lost on people from different time periods because there's so much now. There's like 50,000 movies on Netflix and different platforms that, like, back when they were only making like 10 movies a year, they were really good quality movies that appealed to a lot of people. And now they're kind of like very niche, and you have like specific movies for each subgenre.
Right, right. See, it used to be you'd have to wait a couple years for a good movie. Now they're putting them out at such a pace you can't keep up. By the
Yeah.
time, like, the new Avenger series,
Hmm.
absolutely love every single one of them. I can watch them over and over, all of them. But you can't keep up. By the time one goes on video, or see, I'm showing my age there, being a millennial, video instead of DVD or download, stream, whatever. Um, Now, by the time you buy one, there's two more out.
Hmm.
You almost can't keep up with the amount of movies that they're putting out.
Yeah, it's interesting you say, like, I was thinking about that earlier about how they change what it's called from a film to a video to a movie. And it just gets confusing with like searching online for something or trying to figure something out. There's not even a word to describe the same thing anymore
No,
because
that's accurate.
the medium has changed, and so that changes what it is. Like, I like the generation where I'm also millennial, and I remember the experience of going to Blockbuster and renting a movie and
Oh,
then seeing the snacks in the store and seeing different aisles of different things. And that's a whole experience. I think a lot of us still want experience. Like, I find I go to thrift shops and different stores and look for DVDs and Blu-rays that aren't on streaming platforms because it's kind of like a special thing to find something that you're looking for.
right. I mean, you and I'm 41, so I don't know how close in age we are, but I'm right at the line where growing up, PlayStation, starting with PlayStation 1, what did we do every Friday night with the boys? We would we would go, one of us would buy the game, one of the parents, would hook us up with snacks and whatnot. We'd go to each other's houses. But yeah, man, Blockbuster, we used to walk in that bad boy, all the snacks are at the register. They hold that. so that when you get to the register, they knew that us kids would be saying, "Mom, mom, mom, popcorn," or whatchamacallit, which is actually, it's, you remember the whatchamacallit bar?
I heard of it. Yeah, I
Okay,
don't know if we had them here.
just so you're not like whatchamacallit what? No. It was an actual, it's my favorite candy bar. But you have these lines of candy. Dude, they did it right. Streaming killed them, just like,
Hmm.
the old MTV saying, video killed the radio star.
Yeah.
We've changed so many mediums. Like you said, we went from film to cassette, from cassette to CD, from CD to DVD, and now everything's just streamed. It doesn't have the flavor, is the only way I can think of to word it, that we
Hmm.
had in the early and mid 90s. Life was
Yeah.
perfect back then.
I feel like also because there was a limitation, it made things more special. Like once you have access to too many movies to watch, it makes it less special. Before it's like, okay, I have $5, I can rent one movie. You have to more carefully select what movie to watch. Now you have a subscription, you could literally sit there all day watching movies, and that makes the experience of watching a movie less special because it's so normalized. It's like you come home from work, you can sit down and just watch hours of movies. And before it was kind of like a weekend experience where it's like, all right, Friday night, going to Blockbuster, I'm going to rent the movie. And then that's all the movies you watch that week pretty much.
Yeah, and there's also when the rare times we'd get lucky that, and it was mostly cheaper back with the VHS, but you'd go to find your favorite one and they'd have it on sale. So
Hmm.
you got to walk in and you're like, for $5, I own this bad boy now. With games, everything like that. I used to love going through the game section. And even if you're grabbing the exact same game that you've had the last 6 weeks in a row, when you owned a game, there was nothing better than putting it in, like right here. I made sure my PS5 had the disk drive because there's something about owning it. It's mine. You put it
Hmm.
in, it boots up and plays. Now you put the disc in, it unlocks the game, and then you've got 150 gig download for that game. And then there's constant
Hmm.
updates that crash the servers. It's all, you don't really have personal games anymore. There's not a
Ah.
game, too many games where you just put the disc in and that's it.
Ah,
You don't have
interesting.
that anymore.
Yeah, like I haven't played games, I guess, since they had the CDs that you put in, so I'm not involved in that kind of thing. I didn't know there's so much to download.
Oh yeah, when you get a game disc, the very first thing you do when you buy a brand new disc, you put it in, it takes 10, 15 minutes to load, and
Hmm.
then it starts a massive update. Like the new Grand Theft Auto coming out, you're talking it's going to take up over 100 gig on your hard drive. So if you don't have, like, I've
Hmm.
got a couple terabyte drives attached to my computer, if you don't have that kind of space, one game can really limit you because you'll have to
Yeah.
delete others just to fit this game.
I remember like back in the early 2000s, the beginning when they had World of Warcraft, and a couple of my friends were really into it, and I was just felt like I couldn't get involved because I needed a better computer, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you need like a much more expensive computer," and I had no money, so I'm like, "Well, I guess I'm not going to be involved in this." And it took me like time to get adequate stuff, and it was like the beginning of people getting boxed out for not having the right equipment. And before that, it was kind of like you just put in a CD. If you have a decent system, anyone can play. But it seemed like at that juncture, it was this almost split system where someone with a better computer would have better gameplay, and it made it difficult for like everyone to be together. Whereas like when you're playing a console game in the same room, you all have the same gaming experience. But now it's like someone could have faster reactions if they have a better mouse or a better internet connection.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, yeah, it's very technologically separated. Like even today, we have, like you said, streaming services and stuff. But at the same time, at this moment, 30% of the world doesn't have internet access. And so they're still in the wonderful age of DVDs and that kind of thing. They don't know about the struggles of watching too many movies.
No, you're right. You're right. And since you brought up World of Warcraft, as you can see behind me, I'm big into World of Warcraft. The headset, the
Hmm.
mouse, the Yeti mic, right up there where I'm pointing. It's kind of different when I'm looking at you and trying to point. That's a symbol of the Alliance. And one of the things about World of Warcraft, since you brought it up, because I could talk WoW for days. I'm so big into WoW. I actually started a channel and podcast called Casual Worgen. Worgens are werewolves in game. That's literally it's just a werewolf. So
Hmm.
I've gone under Casual Worgen for a long time, and friends will come, and you'll raid with them all the time, and then one day they're just gone, and you lose that connection. There's no physical connection. All of my WoW friends I've never met, where it
Hmm.
used to be when WoW, the first expansion came out, Burning Crusades, we were so into it that I bought an iMac, and every weekend I would go to my buddy's house, Jay Hoskins, and he and I would literally have his computer attached to a TV. I would have my iMac, and we would be sitting in the same room with our own screens, getting drunk, eating snacks, and playing World of Warcraft for 12 hours at a time easy.
Hmm.
You can't do that now for the most part because the big bane with World of Warcraft is people just come and go.
Hmm.
I haven't had too many connections like going to the movie store, you and your buddy are playing co-op side by side. That connection gets lost a lot of times.
Yeah, like maybe we have to go backwards a bit because things are too technologically. It's like same with video games. I think maybe why there's less community is that they keep making new video games and people jump to new ones, and not everyone gets on board with the same one. And like I remember in college, I'm one of the few comedians who went to college. So in one of the rooms they
Nice.
had this. I'm always bragging about that. I'm like, hey, college educated comedian here.
Bro, that's a big accomplishment. Don't discount yourself. You should be proud of that shit.
Thanks. So in college, what we did was we played a lot of video games in the computer lab, and like you're supposed to be doing homework. But one time there's like 20 computers in there. And every single person was playing on a LAN party, playing the Counter Strike, and it was super cool because that's like a real communal experience. And there was like one or two people that were way better than us and just like sniping people and destroying them. And we're all like amateurs and
Just getting
yeah, that
owned.
yeah, and once in a while someone would come in and say, "Hey, I have to do my homework for my college assignment." We're like, "Get out of here. We got to Can't you see we're playing this serious games over here?"
This is more serious than your education. Get out.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a cool thing when they had LAN parties. People would just
Hmm.
also get together and literally bring their computer with them and plug them in together.
Do you remember in, it would have been like 96, 97, 98, junior high school at that time for me, because I graduated in 2002. But you would go to the computer lab and they had the original colored iMacs where it had that
Mm,
almost see-through colored top. You remember what I'm talking
yeah.
about? Those computers? And all I remember is Oregon Trail.
Oh yeah.
God, I
That's
died of
funny.
dysentery so many times. I thought I really had it.
That's crazy because like you're in the States, I'm in Canada, and we had the same thing. We had the colored IMAX with the Oregon Trail. So maybe there's like they made some deal to sell these computers to every school and install this game because it seems like multinational experience like that.
Yeah. Now, see, you just gave me an idea. That's from what we've already been talking about. That's a massive coin flip. Because the other side of that, we've been talking about how we're being removed from actual connections, physical connections, right? But if
Hmm.
it wasn't for these new connections, I wouldn't be here talking to you. So for
Yeah.
as bad as it is, it's also it's also a good thing because now we can reach out. I If it wasn't for this, you and I would have never crossed paths.
Yeah, I think about that too. And especially because we met through a Facebook group where, like, Facebook seems to be a place littered with shitheads who are just constantly arguing. So the
Hmm.
chance of meeting someone cool like you is very small. But yet, that was the juncture in which we were able to meet. So there's something to be said about not discounting experiences or places that seem mostly bad, and there are some good things you can pick out of there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as much good as it is, it's also bad, vice versa. And I agree with you about the whole Facebook thing. But I've met, you and a couple other people and are quickly becoming good friends because some of the people, I mean, once you get through the muck, there's 15 people here that are total asshats, and then there's that
Mm,
one person, and you connect. You just from sending a message, hey, follow for follow, and then bam, it becomes something. And then there's 25 more shitheads, and then one good person there. So you're going through a lot of different connections. And I kind of believe, and this may sound weird, but I believe people are you meet people that are put in your path for multiple different reasons, but some are there to guide you to where you need to be. Some people show up, like my wife. The day she showed up in my life, it's been nothing but progression. We've been together over 20 years and I'm only 41. That says a lot. But then there's other connections where people are brought into your life not to teach you something other than a lesson. And a lot of times that lesson can be hurtful. You'll find people you think that are your friends and then they show their true colors later. Now, as bad
yeah.
as that is, you learned a very valuable lesson.
Yeah, that's true. And like thinking back in my experiences in college, I had this one shithead who stole money from me and caused a lot of stress, and I felt slighted by that and
Mm.
became angry for a while. But then on the other hand, I met some really loving, nice friends who we had great experiences and a great connection. And it was just a very mixed bag of different people. Like, I think, particularly because it was a community college, there was a huge amount of diversity and different age groups. So I was able to meet people from all different walks of life. like 99% men though, because I was in this technical program. There was literally like one girl in our class, so not a lot of diversity in that part.
A lot of
But
competition, bro.
yeah, that's what I must have felt intimidated being the one girl. But that's just, I guess, because they weren't interested in that. But also, our technical building was in the same vicinity as uh, the fashion and makeup building, so we were able to meet some girls there, and that was cool. Like I had a buddy who's I was very shy, but he was able to like introduce me to some girls, and we had like group meetups, and so I was able to socialize. And a lot of times, I think my social activities were facilitated by others because I'm just generally super shy and don't find I'm able to talk much in person or introduce myself or more than just smiling and nodding. But yeah, that's why we have
Yeah.
other people.
There's a lot of fear because trying to meet new people, if you and I were standing together in front of each other, I never would have said anything. I would have probably just smiled, nodded, hey, what's up, and moved on about my life. Because a physical connection with a random stranger, a lot of times it's kind of scary. You don't know what to expect. And someone who has had a lot of people hurt them, it's almost impossible because the only thing you see in front of you is someone that's going to cause you pain. Whether they will or
Mm.
not is irrelevant. That's your mindset. But online, that's what opened me up because in person to person, I am not a people person. I do not like going places with crowds. I don't like talking to anybody that I don't have to talk to. I'm not a people person. But if I'm
Yeah,
online
same.
gaming, if I'm online with how you and I met, I love people
Hmm.
at a
Yeah.
distance. I just don't like people because you can't trust most people, and a lot of people aren't that bright. Homies got me so homies got me to the point where I will look both ways before crossing a one-way street. That's how
Yeah,
little
same.
faith I have.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like I have a hard time in person with people, and it's just overwhelming having people's energy there. And I like the podcast format because it's accessible.
Hmm.
Anyone, like we had some confusion trying to set up the technical stuff, but I think the technology is getting there where it's becoming easier to set up. And for the most part, you don't need that much fancy technology to do it. Like we
Right.
have some pretty good microphones to make it better for the audience, but I've seen successful video makers and podcasters who just use their phone, and because of that, it's like accessible. Like it's easy to invite anyone in.
Yeah, for me, I don't know how else to explain it. Simply put, for me, it's my fear of judgment. That's what pushes me away from people because before cancer, I was, 160 pounds. I was working out. I was in great shape. And then I didn't really care what people thought at that point. I was happy physically. I felt good in my own body. After cancer, your weight will fluctuate badly. I went up when I first got cancer, I got up to about 200 pounds, the heaviest I'd ever been, and then dropped down to 108 pounds. At 5'7", 108, you're a literal skeleton, and your
Oh
weight will
yeah.
just fluctuate and fluctuate. So for me, I now fear judgment. I'm not
Mm.
happy with my appearance. I'm not happy with myself. And one thing that I have realized, even though I can't conquer this so far, your biggest hater is yourself. Nobody on this planet hates me more than I do. So trying
Mhm.
to make a genuine connection, especially person to person, because for me, I believe as soon as you see me, the very first thing I feel is, what are they judging me on?
Hmm.
My looks,
Yeah.
my speech, what is it?
Yeah, it's difficult. And that often, if someone is judging, it's because they don't feel good inside. I've had also that kind of fear. Like, I am like slow to think. So sometimes I don't respond very quickly. And working at the mall, sometimes people ask me things and it takes me a moment. And if they're very impatient, like the other day, someone is like, "Oh, how do you get to this store?" And I'm like, and and then he's like, "Do you speak English?" And I'm like, "Well, that's kind of rude
Yeah,
to like, what if I didn't speak English?" But it's just I felt kind of judged how I wasn't able to respond the way that other people expect, and that's because of my own disabilities. And I just hope people can appreciate that I try my best, and everyone has different challenges. So, not to expect too much from somebody based on your own expectations.
yeah. And you're absolutely right with that. People don't take time to try to understand anymore. With the rise of TikTok and Instagram, all anyone cares about is how pretty they are and how much money they have. Everything else, they couldn't care less. And unless you have those two things, unless you're a beautiful female in a mini skirt or a swimsuit, or you're showing off your Lamborghini or your $500,000 house, if you don't have those things, you don't matter.
Well, you don't matter to the shitheads on those platforms. Like, I've noticed the most popular things are often the stupidest things. Like I mentioned this in a previous podcast. Popularity has nothing to do with quality. Like the most popular food is like McDonald's because it's open all the time. Doesn't make it the best food. It's just popular because it's accessible. And the same with stuff online. If someone has a nice appearance, then everyone can appreciate that easily. They don't have to get to know the person. They're just like, "Oh, they look nice. I'll click on them."
Hmm.
So it's nothing to do with how much quality they have or anything like that. It's just like a easy way to appeal to the lowest common denominator.
And I agree with you totally. However, McDonald's being accessible, those 99-cent McChickens that we used to enjoy are now $5. That's not very accessible. $5 for a
Yeah.
McChicken, bro?
And how is a hash brown like $3? Isn't it just like a third of a potato? I can get a whole bag of potatoes for $5, and they're trying to sell me like a ground up potato.
But
The infl-
I will never turn down a sausage egg McMuffin, I'm just saying.
yeah.
Sausage egg McMuffin, add some picante sauce on that bad boy, and now
Hmm.
you understand why I went from 160 pounds to 175, 180.
That's
I've
okay.
learned to
Like,
enjoy food. I used to live
yeah.
on the I eat to live, not live to eat.
Hmm.
Now I just want some
Yeah.
food. I'm hungry.
You gotta enjoy. Like, yeah, I'm the same way. I like to enjoy food and have things I like. I'm trying to eat healthier, but you don't want to go extreme and turn out like those people who are super ripped, but they can't eat a hamburger ever.
Well, the way I see it, what I was actually this explains more of what I meant about living to eat and eating to live, enjoying it is because it doesn't matter how healthy you are. It doesn't matter how unhealthy you are. Every single one of us, I don't care vegan, I don't care if you're ripped, I don't care. You're still gonna die, right? We're all
Hmm.
going to die. So would I rather die eating nothing but leaves or enjoying myself for the short time I have on this earth?
Yeah, that's a good point. But there's so much emphasis on living a long time, but I see a lot of people who suffer so much in order to live that length of time that it's really not worthwhile. And I often think about how I don't want to live a super long time because life feels long to me. And if I can do things I enjoy and feel like I'm accomplished and doing meaningful things, then that's all that matters. The length of time that I'm alive is not really important.
You're right. But if I had the chance for immortality, yes, knowing that you're going to die, it makes you enjoy things. I learned that with cancer. But if I had an opportunity for immortality, I think that would be awesome if you could. And I know it's based on movies, but there's some movies out there where basically um, you get a sort of a mechanical body. It looks 100% human, but obviously it's a machine, and they store your consciousness on a disk, but a mini hard drive, right? And whenever you're weak or sick or destroyed, they just pop it out, put it in another body, and you're brand new again. I have
Hmm.
to say, I think that would be kind of cool to live forever, have a perfect body, never have to deal with sickness. You've got massively enhanced strength, speed, vision, hearing, smelling. I think that would be awesome. Although with my luck, I would be broke for eternity. I would be that one that in an entire eternity still ends up broke.
Hmm.
That would be my
Yeah,
luck.
that's interesting.
I'd be
So
the
what?
only homeless broke vampire.
But you got to think also, like, if people get grumpy as they get older, like a 100-year-old who's been in bad situations their whole life, it could become very, very grumpy. And I can't even imagine 1,000-year-old person how grumpy they would become. Back in my day, I tell you,
You're
we didn't
right.
have these newfangled. Like,
Oh yeah, I get you. I mean, look at how much advancement we see in just for those of us that even live to 100. Imagine all
mhm.
the technology that we've started with and will end with. So 1,000 years, it'd be unrecognizable. I can
Yeah,
understand how that would be extremely difficult, but I don't know. I think living forever would be awesome. Maybe it's because I've been in situations where they're taking life away from you. So
mm,
I think it'd be cool to be immortal. It's not
yeah,
possible but with our technology, but I don't know. I think it would be awesome. Mosquito
yeah.
just got me, little jerk.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that'd be kind of a cool idea. You don't think there would be some benefit to never being sick, to being not superhuman, but because it's robotic form, you're physically stronger and et cetera, et cetera. All the enhancements, I guess. But I get what you're saying because you technically wouldn't be human anymore.
Yeah. So I think that might be possible because just based on how many advancements keep popping up exponentially as things advance, and especially with AI improving itself and inventing things, it's definitely feasible as we see like these science fiction novels come to life. It's uncanny how many similarities we find between like George Orwell and Isaac Asimov
Oh yeah.
stories coming into play that seemed completely far fetched and now are just like, oh yeah, that's happening. The robots are taking over.
Right? Y'all want Terminators because this is how you get Terminators.
Yeah, and I think especially in China is where everything is going on. Like you've seen videos of these robot dogs like yelling at people, "Get back in your house," and like
I'm still gonna pet
the
that dog.
it's just out of control. The level of technology that's coming up in the last few years. It like people were joking about the whole Terminator and Matrix thing being real until like a couple years ago. They're like, "Well, look at that. Looks like they are taking over after all."
You know that in the United States, and I can't remember what state it is, they actually have robots now that they are testing in public as police officers.
Oh, crazy.
Right there is when it starts to scare you because once
Yeah.
you train them for combat, you can't take that back.
Yeah, like
And what
another
happens the
Isaac Asimov.
what happens the first time that robot kills a human?
Yeah, even with these self-driving cars, they said they're putting them out on the streets, and I'm like, so when the car kills somebody, who's gonna go to jail? The
Nobody.
car or the car's owner? Like, how does that even get a license? Like, you can't have no responsibility for these deaths that are going to occur from car crashes.
Right, but what you're missing is the very simple aspect of capitalism. It's about money. That's it. The human life they couldn't care less about. These big corporations are making so much money off of all this, they don't care. And think about
Crazy.
it. If you break into my house and you steal from me, 99% of the time, what the officer is going to do is file a report. Good luck, right? You walk into a bank and steal $100, law enforcement's going to come down on you just with everything they've got because that is business's money, corporate money, which is what the laws protect against. They don't
Hmm.
care what happens to a regular person, but if it happens to a bank or, that's what the laws protect these days. They care more about the corporations making money than they care about you. That's just
Yeah.
how it is. That's why these people get away with everything they get away with because they've got the one thing that we don't, money.
Hmm. Yeah. And yeah, you see that throughout history where there's corruption with power and money. And what was supposed to revolutionize things is the decentralization of currency. Like Bitcoin is not controlled by any central government or banking agency, which is supposed to be a revolutionary method of removing ourselves from the old system. And it's still in the process of its development. And to see it come this far into a multi trillion dollar asset is still very hopeful to me. And I think it's a matter of world acceptance. And I know there's already regulations being in place to combat the use of Bitcoin without taxation and that kind of thing. But the fundamental functionality of crypto kind of still has the ability to circumvent government and banking intervention, which is very revolutionary. The fact that I could now send currency directly to another country halfway around the world without involving a bank or government
Right.
is something very powerful.
And I think that's cool, but I'm more worried about risk because the reason I stay away, excuse me, from Bitcoin, I'm apprehensive because all it takes is someone to click and you have no money. That's what scares me about not having physical currency
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
how easy would it be to say, I really don't like this Harrison guy? Boom, you have nothing.
Well, it's actually harder to hack than a bank account money, but it's true that something that's digital could evaporate just as soon as the system goes down. So
Right,
in that respect, I also feel safer with something physical like physical currency or gold
gold,
or
silver
silver.
coins. Yeah, yeah. See, we're on the same page.
Yeah, I see the logic of that. And recently, there's been a spike in commodities, which is, I think, coinciding with how the economy is all over the place with these crazy, like, multi-country business dealings and the wars and things. And it shows that amongst the chaos and uncertainty, there is some security in owning a physical asset. The
Right,
same like with the video games and movies. Like I know I have access now to tens of thousands of movies on streaming, but I still feel better having a physical DVD because sometimes the internet doesn't work or sometimes the streaming provider gets rid of a movie that you like. There's more certainty just having a disc and knowing that you have it here.
right. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. My thing with that, in agreement with you, would be you essentially pay the amount a month that it would cost to just buy the movie outright. And say you've got a good collection of things that you love watching through this streaming channel. Um, Look at Apple. Say you bought this movie, right? But it's only available to stream because you have no physical copy. Well, this month my bills are just too high. I can't afford it. Until you start paying them again, you no longer have access to your stuff. And there's a big thing in the gaming world. Last year, one of the CEOs for a big gaming company who shall remain nameless, I'm not trying to get sued, but this fool got up and said, you know, look at Division 2, the game that my friends are going to be playing and live streaming as soon as I get off here. And you buy the game. We've spent hundreds of dollars over the 7 years that it's been up on appearances, gear, cool stuff. All that money you put into it and all the hours you put into it, like World of Warcraft. I've been playing that since 3 weeks before the first expansion came out. So I'm not OG enough that I was original. I was only in vanilla for like 3 weeks and I gave up because I didn't like the characters they had until they dropped Blood Elves. And I was like, I need this. And I've been playing ever since. So if you add just the money per month, if you add all the stuff I bought in game, you've spent hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. But this month, I can't afford to pay it. All of a sudden, you have zero access to your stuff that you've paid for, stuff that you've earned. And this CEO basically said that everything you buy, like streaming, like your online movies, since you love movies, you don't actually own it. You're
Mhm.
leasing it, which means they have the right to tell you you can't watch your movie. You can't play your game that you bought
Mhm.
unless you pay them more.
Yeah, that's the trouble is they also keep upping the price. Like with streaming services, they start at a certain price, and I know most of the streaming services are losing money in order to get people on there. So whatever
Yeah.
price they start at, they're losing money and will eventually have to raise the price for it to continue existing. Similar to Netflix, it started at $8 and now it's like $20. So people start relying on like comfortable shows or familiar movies that they enjoy on there, and they keep coming up with new seasons that addict people, and they are out of the loop as soon as they feel it's too expensive. Like I had to cut off certain streaming services because I don't have money for so many things.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's an unfortunate thing that's happening is this whole subscription service thing where everything becomes a monthly bill.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you've got 15 subscriptions coming out of your check every single month because you have a
Hmm.
subscription for Netflix, then there's the Amazon Music, then there's the what was I thinking of? Damn it. I can't remember what it was, but like my wife and I, what the hell is the name of that app? I have no idea. It's so popular. I can't believe I forgot it. Amazon. Amazon.
Oh yeah,
So, Amazon, to get the free shipping and to get the discounts, my wife gets Amazon. But
yeah,
I'm a
same.
music addict. I love music. So now there's that fee, and then there's $8.99 a month extra for me to have my unlimited music. But then there's the Amazon movie services, which are another. So you can have one app, three subscription prices.
Hmm.
Amazon Movie, Amazon Music, Amazon Prime. So we have three different bills just in one app, and that all
Yeah,
adds up.
yeah, definitely. I've had little things like I run an online movie network and it's not making any money. So I'm just trying to pay the bills to keep it up because it's helpful to different small independents and stuff. And at one point, I started trying to do this uh, thing where you have watch parties and people could watch a movie together live and chat. And it was pretty cool. But they also charged like $5 a month, and there was only like one or two people joining. So it didn't make sense to spend money for something like that and continue losing money at these kinds of things.
Are you still
And yeah,
doing that?
not the watch party. I'm doing the website with the movies.
Oh, because I was going to say that'd be kind of cool to do a watch party. That's a really cool idea.
Yeah, thanks. I
No,
guess
that
just
really is a cool idea. I think that'd be really cool.
I think they have like a free version where you can do that. I think I was just paying to have like a permanent channel where you can have like a weekly event or something, but you can still go on and do a watch party with people by bringing them into this link. And so yeah, it's fun for stuff like you could post a YouTube link and then watch something together with others.
I think that'd be a lot of fun actually because you're you're different where you're at, but you're still together. I think that's really cool. One thing I've done with my friends is a new song will come out, like a band that I'm hooked on right now is called Nevertell. And
Hmm.
every time they release a new YouTube video and I fall in love with it, the first thing I do is share it with everybody. And there's been a couple times where I'm like, we're going to listen to this right now together, and it's kind of cool that you're listening to the same new experience together. So
Hmm.
doing movies would be awesome, especially if there's something that is new because you get to experience it together without having to go to a crowd, a movie theater. I can just sit here with my nice cooling blanket my wife got me, snuggled up and just chilling with you guys. That'd be a lot of fun. It's a good way to de-stress too.
Yeah, I like that whole vibe of kind of chilling with people on a live thing. Like there's
Right.
a podcast I listen to has a weekly chat party where people are open to pop in and do like a live video chat like we're doing here, but there's maybe like 10 or 15 people and they're just chilling and talking about stuff. And like that's the kind of vibe that you get when you have a sense of community, like in high school or somewhere where there's like a group of people just hanging out and chatting. And because of everyone being separated, it's a good way to get together and feel that community again.
You know what would be kind of cool actually? Say you got a group of 10 people, which nowadays is actually hard to get 10 people in the same room at the same time and available, but everyone pitches in two, three, four, $5 and like Venmos or however you do your money, and everyone pitches in. The leader, which would be you, buys a brand new movie, and we all get to watch it together for a much smaller price than a movie theater or buying the movie individually. That would be
Hmm.
kind of cool. You're just pitching in a couple bucks, and once the movie's bought, everyone can maybe vote and say, this week I want to watch this movie,
Hmm.
out of a list of five. And because you would own it, maybe we want to watch this movie again. It's already paid for, everyone can enjoy it. That'd be a really cool idea to put together. I'm glad you thought of that.
That's a good idea. I can try to do that like for my website and
Oh, hell,
show
I'm
movies
in
that
on
people
that.
made.
I'm in on that.
Awesome.
We can throw five
Yeah.
in.
All right.
My wife
Yeah, like
might beat me up, but I
like
need
there's some
five
really great
bucks.
like the thing I like about doing the films is that first of all it's a huge challenge to do films and succeed financially. So I want to try to help these independent filmmakers who are very talented and they're doing their best and a large percent of them are not even making back the money they put into the movie, but some of them have great talent and I want to encourage them to keep going. And even if like on this site they're making maybe $5 a month or something from a couple of sales, it shows that it's encouraging because from my experience working with different movie distributors and hearing stories from others is that if they do get a deal with a larger company, which I've done myself with some of my films, they market the movie through themselves and pay themselves to do creative works like DVD covers or trailers or graphics, and they make up these prices and they're like, all right, we spent $30,000 marketing your movie, so the first 30,000 it makes we're going to take. And then the movie never even makes that much, so whatever it did make gets swallowed up by the company that's promoting it, often paying themselves for doing the work, and the filmmaker sees zero. So my idea is just simple where I give them 80% of whatever it makes on demand through this online service that pays out, and I pay a yearly subscription to have that available. And that way it's possible through support from community for them to get a fair share of whatever demand there is for their film. The tricky
I think
part is just the marketing because people don't realize, like, let's say $100 million movie will spend another $50 million in marketing, and in order to make money on that movie. So even if someone making a small budget movie, they don't have extra money to put into marketing. I don't have extra money to put into marketing because I'm making such a small percent. So the business is not really there unless it's at such a large scale where you're putting a tipping point level of marketing that you can have it shown on billboards or whatever and
Right.
get it seen. And often a huge proportion of the money they make is from theater screenings. So without access to movie theaters, which is a whole other game, you actually have to pay about $10,000 per movie theater per month to have it screened. So it's not a desirable business to be in because there's
Right.
such a
There's a
huge
lot of
risk.
loss.
Yeah. And even amongst the big movies that have celebrities and everything, a large percent of those movies still lose money. So, like, who would want to get into a business where you have to spend millions of dollars to maybe make some money and still have a big chance of losing money?
Yeah, that's a
It's,
big risk.
yeah, like what I've figured out over time is that a lot of times movies aren't in it for the money at all. Even though you see these numbers in the box office, like, oh, this movie made $1 billion or something, those are outliers. There's only a few movies that make a huge amount of money. Even the ones that say they made money because of the marketing cost, they're still losing money. And what I think is that people with like these studios and things, they're putting into these movies because they believe in the message. They want to share whatever message that movie has, and that's more important to them than making money. Because if someone like Disney or something, if they purely just wanted to make money, they wouldn't risk it on movies that people may or may not like. They would just keep making more like Mickey Mouse hats or something that sells all the time.
Right.
Like there's much less risky ways of going about it. Movies is really something people do because they feel that there's something to be said.
Yeah. And for me, on the podcast side of that, my issue is the only way to get a lot of followers and views on Instagram, TikTok, all of these, they all want you to pay.
Hmm.
And for people like myself that can't afford to pay TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, pay every single month, you're locked into what they call the 200 view jail. If you're not
Okay.
paying these services, you're not getting promotion. So all
Hmm.
the hours and all the time that I put into podcasting and whatnot, none of it'll matter if you're not paying because no,
Hmm.
you're not going to get enough people to see it to care. And I'm noticing that with Spotify, I'm not getting Facebook. I'm at this podcast is less than 2 months old, less than 2 months. And on Facebook, Delusional Podcast has almost 600 followers.
Hmm.
On Instagram, 39. You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But
Yeah.
if I paid Instagram, which I will never do after a horrible experience. So, originally, my first podcast was called Casual Worgen, and I would just put up goofy videos from World of Warcraft. Like, I have a ton of gaming stuff on Instagram. I've got like over 2,000 followers on that account still, and I put out this meme about how World War II America had ice cream boats. And a lot of people don't know that in World War II, these boats would go from conflict to conflict and give the Americans ice cream.
Hmm.
And there was even a Japanese commander that had expressed how upset that seeing that made him, because his people were starving to death in this battle. He's like, we can't even feed our soldiers. These motherfuckers have a mobile ice cream. They got a
Hmm.
Baskin Robbins over here, So it destroyed them, and
Hmm.
that is, I still have it, so I can send it, and you can see I'm telling the truth. 2.6 million views.
Wow.
That was the
Yeah.
only one I've ever had. 2.6 million views on my video. You know how much money I made from that?
No. Nothing.
Zero. Because I violated community guidelines because I mentioned war. That
Oh.
was the official explanation. And I'm like, wait a minute. You guys, how much did Instagram make off of my 2.6 million view video?
Yeah.
They
Like
made plenty of money off of it, but they
that's a
paid me
scam.
nothing. Right.
Yeah, those kinds of things. Like if they don't want you making money, they shouldn't make money. It's unfair. Like I've noticed, like you said, certain platforms seem to have the possibility of being more organically driven, like YouTube, where I was able to get some videos that have hundreds of thousands of views without paying for any advertising. So that to me says there's potential of reaching audiences based on the content. And certain other ones, you see how, like on Twitter, it's the same thing. If you don't pay, they just don't show you different, they don't show your stuff to people. Like I used to be able to finesse the system, and I was able to build up accounts that had tens of thousands of views just by adding new people and talking about certain things and hashtags and that kind of thing. And there was a whole strategy to it. But it
Right.
seems like the rules keep changing and it's not as organic. Although I still see there is some potential on YouTube to get attention, where like more recently I still was able to get about half a million views. I made
Holy
like
shit.
I did a troll video where I I pretended like I uploaded a full version of the new Tom Cruise movie, and I just uploaded a picture of the movie that was the exact length of that movie. And then when they start the video, it just cuts to me, and I'm like, "Ha! You thought it was Tom Cruise, but it's me." And people actually thought it
Oh,
was funny.
damn. So literally playing a prank on people and they loved it. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And then after a while, I felt bad for wasting so many people's time that I took it down. I'm like, oh man, half a million people just wasted like 5 minutes of their time. That's like hundreds of hours of people's lives. So I was like, I
Right.
can't be doing this.
But if you were a beautiful woman, just post a picture and you've got 10,000 followers, 50,000 followers.
Hmm.
That's one thing that I absolutely loathe. That's one thing that prevented me from doing this podcast, was because I'm not some young, beautiful female. I don't have $500,000 house. So I feel like I'm at an automatic disadvantage, especially going live, because I'm not going to get the amount of views no matter what I do as a 21-year-old swimsuit model who just
Yeah.
gets millions of dollars a month streaming by just existing.
Hmm.
I mean, think
Yeah.
about that. You're automatically at a disadvantage because you're not famous or beautiful, et cetera, et cetera. So you're already at a disadvantage. There's people that just exist and they're making millions of dollars streaming online. Oh, I went
Yeah.
and bought this new drink at freaking Dunkin' Coffee, whatever, and 50,000 views. And my the podcast I put out today at noon. I spent a total of a week and a half writing that script and then going over it again and editing. Long story short, it took about a week and a half of researching because I put so many facts into it. Because obviously I can't recall every single detail, even though I know something about it. I don't know everything about it. So I'm putting in tons of research. And then when I record the video, there's that hour and a half it took me to record, then there's 2 or 3 hours to edit that video to find all the little mistakes here and there. And then you've got to make it into a video, which takes a couple hours. And then you've got to upload those videos, which take hours, and
Yeah.
zero views.
Well, that's
All
kind
that
of
work, you know what I
yeah.
mean? And then people are making millions just for existing.
I definitely know what you mean. Like that's exactly what filmmaking is like. I spent 2 months filming this kids movie, 8 hours a day, driving up north for an hour, picking up the sound guy, spending my own money on this. We spent another few weeks editing the thing. It took about a year to get it distributed. It finally gets distributed. The distributor steals all the money. You go online and look it up. People are like, "This movie sucks." So that's all we got out of it was
Oh man, all
years of
that
work.
work. That
Yeah.
that breaks your spirit, man.
Well, that's why a lot of filmmakers don't make more than one movie. Is it's really that soul crushing to not be appreciated after all you do, even if it's a quality movie and people just don't relate to it or they don't like it or they compare it to a much better movie because there's so many great movies. How are you going to compete with your first attempt? It's unfortunate that they don't continue doing it for the love of it, especially some people appreciate it. So just like with this podcast or with yours, even if I see like 5 people watching it, that's enough encouragement for me. I'm like, well, 5 people, those can
Right.
be 5 really cool people that I'm relating to. And that means a lot. It doesn't have to be like what I made that video that got 500,000 views. That didn't mean a lot to me because I know these are just random people clicking on whatever catches their attention.
Mhm.
But if I can connect in a meaningful way to 5 people, that's worth a lot more than seeing a view count that's in the millions and I'm just stealing people's attention with clickbait. So I
Right.
think the substance still matters. And that's kind of something that you see in the filmmaking industry as well, where a lot of times, like, really good filmmakers will make something that goes unappreciated because it's not mainstream. And that's what I like about these artsy type movies. It's like there's not a huge audience for it. It's just something personal to the director or the producer, and they wanted to share some story that means something to them. And the fact that they cannot care about making money or getting accolades or winning awards is really cool. And I think you see that more in the independent space because there is a lot of glitz and glamour and that kind of thing when you get into working with big budgets and celebrities. They kind of have to be mainstream and not get too weird or too artsy to segregate their audiences.
So really they can't be free because
Hmm.
no matter what, they have to submit and they have to submit to what's popular and kind of hide away what they really enjoy or what they really want to do. you're absolutely right, and that I can see how that breaks you.
Yeah, like there are exceptions where some artists are able to so disconnect from what people think that they make something that a lot of people love. And that's kind of where these great movies come from, because a lot of great movies are weird and different and not
Hmm.
mainstream. And that's what makes them great. And I wish more of us can see that and not just see how it's great because of the technical aspects or the acting. It's great just because it doesn't care about being accepted.
There's freedom in that. With my podcast, one of the things that I am big into putting into is I put what I enjoy. I'm not going to get rich off of a podcast. I'm not going to be Joe Rogan and have, and he's earned everything. I'm not discounting what he's done, but I'm never going to reach that level, and I'm okay with that. I'm doing this as an outlet for me. So if you don't like what I'm putting out, I don't really care. I'm putting it out because I want it out. It's something I want to say, it's something I want to hear or I want to do. But at the same time, that freedom isn't full freedom because I know there's things I can't say. I know there's
Mm,
topics that I should not touch. And even though I want to scream from the top of my lungs about certain subjects, I know what'll happen if I do.
mhm,
So that they take away that freedom, like your filmmakers. You have limited freedom. There's freedom within expressing yourself how you want to, being you, being just as weird as you want to be. But there's always those things that you can't touch, you can't say, you can't do. That sucks. It's not real freedom.
mm. Yeah, like I noticed that with like certain platforms too, where they're like, "Oh, don't talk about this or you'll get removed." Or even like,
Banhammer.
yeah, and everything's like automated with AI that it becomes inhuman, where they don't even use their brain to think about if something is right or wrong. Like I was helping an artist upload their movie to this platform, and they're like, copyright infringement. You can't use this song. I look at the song, it's like a song that they made. It has their name in the title. They're like, this person stole this song from this person. I'm like, well, that's the person that made the song. What are you talking like?
How
They
do
don't
you get
even
copyright
understand.
infringement on your shit? That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah,
How do
because
you
it's
produce
just
something?
AI.
How do you
It's
produce
just an
something?
AI taking it and saying, this has been found as a copyrighted song. I'm like, well, yeah, they're the one who copyrighted it.
Oh, I
So,
can't imagine how wild, how angry I would be if I uploaded my podcast episode to YouTube, which is where I put them all, and they're like copyright infringement. Like, hold up now, I'm the one who wrote it. How
yeah.
man, I would be so pissed.
Yeah, that's also
Man,
why.
we'd be throwing bows on that one. And then you're gonna have to fight to prove that you own the rights to your content. That's whack. And
Yeah.
an example of what you're saying is I make a video Monday through Friday. I put something up new where it's something silly for art or it's something cool that's art, and then I just attach music to it. And I do that Monday through Friday every single day. And on Facebook, I can use this song in the video and then post it, right?
Mhm.
But if I take that same video with the same music on TikTok, it's cool. I can just re upload that same video. But when I go to put it on YouTube, who
Mm.
has that same music? If you would have made the video on YouTube, you would have got the same song, right? So
Yeah.
I take that same video that was accepted on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube says copyright. You can't use that song. But if I made the song or the video because I've tested it, I go to YouTube, make the exact same video with the exact same song, and YouTube's like, copyright infringement, bruh.
Hmm.
But if I make it on YouTube,
Yeah.
they allow it.
Yeah,
That
they're
makes
trying to
no
force
sense
you.
to me.
Yeah, that's what I found frustrating because they used to just, you can put a song that's copyright free on YouTube with no issues, but now you have to specifically insert the music from YouTube in order for them to see that it's from them, because they kind of want to monopolize and have you only use music from their library in order to get it monetized or whatever, not removed. And
Yeah.
that's kind of, overpowering. And it's kind of like 1984ish, where they want to control how you do things. And luckily, because of new technology that's out of control, like AI, you're able to create new platforms very easily. So things like YouTube will be easy to duplicate by other people. And I'm sure we'll see more of these things pop up and be used. And we have seen that. And now it's like, especially in the podcast space, as soon as people realized it's a popular format, all of a sudden you see these podcast networks pop up. And then I hear podcasts and they're like, "Oh, catch us on the new podcast network, and also available on iHeartRadio and Spotify and Apple Music," or whatever. Like, there's so many places to access a podcast that they can't really monopolize it. They can't say you have to put your podcast on Spotify to get listens, because they haven't established themselves as the hub for podcasts, and no one really has. So in that sense, it's still very good that, you see how, like, YouTube is like the monopoly for going to see videos. Anything that's not a movie, any short form video or otherwise, is largely concentrated on YouTube, and that's the place to go to get views, other than, I guess, TikTok coming in. But because of that, it makes it so that if you're a video maker and you want to succeed, you kind of have to rely on YouTube and follow their rules.
Yeah, and like all the music I use as an intro for my episodes, every single one of them I get from free use sites. All the
Mhm.
music is free to use. But every video that I've uploaded to YouTube, because yeah, if you're doing videos, you can't get a full. We did over 2.5 hours on the last live stream with you, and you can't fit that on Facebook video or TikTok or Instagram. You have to use YouTube. You don't really have much of a choice. And
Mm.
I'm using free use music because I'm not trying to mess with someone's copyright. I'm not trying to infringe. So I use free use. Every single one of those videos, YouTube flags for copyright. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is free use music. How can you flag me for free use music?
And I've noticed that too. It's like they have different flaggings, and they're like, we noticed the copyright and we're not going to give you a strike, but we noticed it. And that just makes everything slower, because you're not sure if you're going to get removed or something because of a music, unless you use it specifically from them, which is, again, them trying to force your hand and using only their music, and that way they can control what music gets played. and they can license music that way. And there's
But it's
always
free
been,
use. It's free to the public. So it's
yeah.
not copyrighted. How can they copyright music that's not copyrighted? That's
Well,
stupid.
I think what they're trying to do is put themselves as an authority figure. And we've seen this in movies where, you know, how they have a MPAA rating, like rated
Yes.
R. So that rating is an official copyrighted rating. You cannot put rated R on a movie that you make yourself. You'll get sued. And you can't get into theaters without a rating. So you have to go to this company that charges, I think, $150,000 to
What?
watch your movie and give you a letter.
Hell no.
So
What?
that's the scam there. Yeah, they have this monopoly on ratings. And unless you say unrated or something, you can't put an official rating, and then certain places won't show it in conjunction with their rules. And that's how the industry continues to gatekeep, even with all this new stuff happening. Although, like, Netflix kind of broke the mold, and like, it used to be a few studios that were like mobsters basically, and they're like five studios that make every movie in the world. And now, like, Netflix comes in, they're their own thing. They're not part of, MGM or whatever big studio. They're their own
Right.
streaming thing. They built up so much of a native following that they have all this money coming in from subscriptions, and they're able to produce their own movies, big budget movies. They spend something like 20 to 30 billion dollars a year producing
Damn.
stuff, which is insane. Yeah, like other movie studios, you think about a big budget movie is $100 million. They make maybe 5 movies a year. A big studio, that's less than half a billion. Now you have Netflix, these juggernaut, coming in with tens of billions of dollars in content, which is why there's so much stuff coming out. They're throwing money into different countries to get stuff made. And now they're the ones who are like, yeah, we'll buy up that A-list celebrity. We'll give them a contract, throw 100 million at this person. And now, because celebrities will work for anyone with money, they're like, all right, well, I guess I'm not a Hollywood studio actor. I'm a Netflix actor. And that's how they became Hollywood, basically.
Man. Let me just circle back to what you said a moment ago. Just I have another reaction. To get a rating that they force you to get 150, bruh. Small movie makers don't even have that kind of money.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That talk about gatekeeping, $150,000. I bitch slap somebody over 150,000. God, that
Yeah.
that gatekeeps so much. That's not even.
Yeah.
That's not cool. That's a party foul.
Yeah. Like the music industry and the movie industry are so corrupted, and for so many years that it's taken this level of technology to elevate. Even like Spotify, there's that was supposed to be the the Netflix of music, where all of a sudden some nobody artist can blow up by getting exposure on there. But it's also like, I heard something like Snoop Dogg had a song with 1 billion downloads, and he only got $40,000 from Spotify because they pay out so little
Bro.
that it's impossible to make money. And they're like, well, you got lots of views, which will lead to lots of concert tickets, so that's your money there, which is such bullshit
That's a
because,
dick move.
yeah, it's
And here I'm sorry, go ahead.
like the Hollywood, I mean the Super Bowl halftime shows. They don't pay the artists to come to the halftime show because they're like, well, you get like 70 million viewers and that'll lead to sales. But still, you seem kind of cheap being like, hey, Rihanna, come do a show for free. We'll pay you in views. Like,
Right.
come on now. You're the NFL. You can do a little better than zero.
Hey, I mean, I'm just saying, if I can get Rihanna for $0 for a concert, I mean, I'd like to get my boy Rob Thomas. Be like, hey, bro, here's the deal. You're gonna do the concert for me for free, but hear me out. One or two people are gonna watch it.
But
Like,
they're really good people.
that's right. They're really kick-ass people, my guy. Like I'm struggling with Spotify. Um, like struggling, and I can't figure out how to get better with Spotify because the Facebook groups that I met you on, I'm also on Spotify, follow for follow, Spotify, show your podcast, Spotify.
Hmm.
But you're allowed to advertise your channel, but I've noticed that with certain podcast channels that like that's how I found you. But all the Spotify ones specifically, I do my daily videos like I told you I do, and I'm still at 4 followers. I'm putting out
Hmm.
all this content and I'm stuck with like 4 people, and they're cool ass people because I know each one of them. But it's like,
It could be like
I'm
a
not getting
SEO.
anything.
Could be like a search issue. Like I remember your podcast title was delusional underscore podcast. So maybe the underscore is hard to search. Like I know for mine, it doesn't come up unless you type it a certain way, and that makes it hard to discover for new people.
Well, for mine, I didn't have a choice. I put in delusional podcast and it wouldn't accept it. So I had to add something. And I tried at delusional podcast, it wouldn't let me do it. I tried like 10 different variants, and the only one that it allowed was delusional underscore podcast. So I didn't have much of a choice for that.
Hmm. Yeah, there's so many tricks and stuff. Like I look into that kind of thing, like with search engine optimization, and I find it interesting to see how to get views from random people just searching for stuff. And there's a lot. It's involved, and also the fact that things are constantly changing. Like sometimes something that doesn't work this month might work next month because they change the algorithm on Google or any search engine. So I noticed that too, where sometimes just out of nowhere someone will find your stuff far into the future because something got mentioned in the news that is connected to something you talked about, and then now it's a hot topic. And so I always think about that and how it has nothing to do with really people are connecting with it or looking for it. It's just like sometimes things are popular and they get discovered at another later time.
I just want a I'm going to be honest. I don't want 10,000 followers that never pay attention. I want 20, 30 people that are like minded, that we coalesce, that we
Mm.
talk together, that enjoy the same content. I
Yeah,
kind of want to deal with other podcasts like you and like my friend in the Ruckus Room. We all have similar things that we like. So I like supporting your content. I support it every time I see it. Same with her. I support everything because I want like minded people. I want people that I can bullshit with, people that we can talk about the exact same things we enjoy. And I'm finding
yeah.
it so difficult on every platform except Facebook. Facebook, I'm running into tons of people. It's crazy. But the other
I think
apps, nothing.
yeah, I think the way to go is just like building the community one person at a time, kind of like how the Jehovah's Witnesses function. They go door to door and they have meaningful one on one conversations and like
And get
it's
a
like
lot of
that.
doors slammed in their face.
Sure. And we could do the same with the podcast. We go door to door and say, "Excuse
There you
me,
go.
have
Instead
you
of
heard about this podcast?"
that's right. Have you heard about the Lord? Have you heard the good word? Like instead of Trump signs, I can just walk around delusional podcast signs in random
Yeah.
people's yards. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
like
keep
a
putting this sign until you follow it.
well, yeah, like the podcast I listen to, I've been listening for 17 years, I think. It's one of the
Holy
first
shit!
podcasts. Yeah, one of the first established podcasts, Keith and the Girl. It's a comedy show. And what they did when they started was they went and put stickers of their podcast name on subways and just out in public. And they would send fans free stickers with their logo and kind of have that kind of a one-on-one connection with people and like boots on the ground kind of way of getting out there, and like that's pretty
Man,
cool.
someone
And it took
donate 10 grand to me. I'm putting billboards up.
yeah, I think that's the way to go. Just very personal, very local, and things grow from having that closeness with others. Like how we connect well, we can find other like-minded people. Maybe like there's this other guy from the group that wants to get involved. We can do something like the three of us and
Hell
then
yeah.
branch out from there. Like I know some cool people that we can put into the mix and just build like a real community until we have like 10 people yammering over each other on a podcast and
Right.
it's just like a chill session. But I think that would be enjoyable, and the more people we get involved, doesn't have to be like a million people, but when you have a real community, just like with that podcast I listen to, they don't have millions and millions, but they have a tight knit community of people that really connect to the content and to each other and to like the local stories, and they know each other, and it's really cool to feel like you're a part of something where you know each other on some deep level.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what we're doing, what you and I are doing, and maybe you and I can do like every other Friday or something like that. And we can start
Yeah.
something weekly and try to add people into it. Uh, what are the limits on Riverside for how many people you can have at once? Is it just you and a guest, or can you have multiple people?
Yeah, I think you can have multiple people. I'm not sure.
So maybe
Like
we
I've
can
never.
maybe we can just start inviting someone like this week. I'll invite one person, you invite one. That'd be kind of fun to have something that we do weekly because I'm when I finish setting up Riverside this weekend and I'm actually on the site instead of like right now I'm just a guest. I think that would be something we could maybe start an hour, 2 hours every Friday, every other Friday. And if you're streaming live right now on whatever website, and I'm streaming live on a website, which I'm not right now because I haven't paid yet, so it won't let me. But and then another person is with us and they're recording. I mean,
Hmm.
we might be able to make something.
Yeah, and we throw in some of those troll videos that I'm famous for, and get some people to get. Next
Oh
time
my
you click a
God.
Tom,
I
next
just
time you're
real
trying to find a Tom Cruise movie, you click it, and then it jumps into our podcast, and that's how we'll get some people.
Oh my God, I just realized that you're going to end up trolling me at some point, and I'm like, oh God, what is he going to do? That's going to be awesome. I love that kind of thing. I love shit talking and joking around like like we do. My live
Yeah.
stream with my buddies, we talk mad trash to each other. But as soon as my buddy Keith gets downed, you know, we literally have conversations because we've been live streaming this game for a couple of years. And I do it every weekend, every
Hmm.
Friday night and every Saturday night, except holidays or, conflict schedules. But we'll spend 2 hours talking so much trash that you think these guys would kill each other if they ever met. And then Keith will go down, and I'm like, "Fuck, I'm on my way, buddy. I'm on my way. I'm on my way." It's interesting how you can do that, but it's a lot of fun that we can go instantly from pranking each other, talking smack, but we love each other. We're brothers,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
maybe we could, work up a community like that, and that would be fun. Because I'm one of those people that you can talk all the trash about me you want, and I'm gonna laugh at most of it, especially if it's good. I'm gonna be like, bro, that was pretty good. I love it. So I'll never be, I only have one rule. Never insult my wife and children because I will literally my temper will go from 0 to mock Jesus. But other
Gotcha.
than that, man, it's fun. We don't actually have to be enemies to have fun making fun of each other. And
Hmm.
that's kind of cool. That's I would love to get them on with you because if you watch some of the videos that we've done, the banter between us, we it gets crazy. It
I
gets
love that.
crazy. And that's the kind of stuff that it seems like you would be into. I can't
Hmm.
imagine the four of us on an episode together just shit talking each other because
Yeah.
the conversations would get wild.
Yeah, we should set that up.
Hell yeah. The only problem is neither one of them are good with computers.
Hmm.
So but I mean, Riverside, since you got me onto it tonight, seems really simple. All they
Yeah.
would need is a laptop with a webcam and they'd be good to go,
Yeah, exactly. It's
and a
becoming easier
headset.
to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to I'll talk to him tonight, and I think Keith just got a laptop or is about to get a laptop because we all play on PlayStation.
Hmm.
But damn, that'll be fun to set up.
Yeah, I'm down.
You,
All right.
as long as you're not sensitive because we we talk a lot of shit.
No,
I
no.
haven't I have an episode with Clark. It was last Christmas, and we have this discussion where the conversation's going to be gold when the person telling the story spends the first 2 or 3 minutes laughing so hard they can't breathe to even tell you the story. And I can't remember what the device was called, but it was called the butt rumbler, and it does exactly what it sounds like it does. So the conversation started with he walks into Walgreens, and on the shelves in frickin' Walgreens, bro, is a butt vibrator. And that's what it's called, the butt rumbler. So we spent an entire episode of making everything the butt rumbler, and we went. Oh, it was bad. It was great. I'll personally message that to you so you can watch that video. But we can take anything and turn it into some crazy shit. But the butt
Yeah.
rumbler is just one that I can never live down or never forget because it was so funny. But this dude sees it and he's like, I'm gonna buy it for my brother-in-law. I thought that was fucking gold. I'm like, did you buy it? Did you buy it? And he's like, no, I didn't buy it. And I'm like, that's a missed opportunity. That is such a missed opportunity. But those two are my brothers. They're my community. They're my friends. Clark, who we call Stone Bear, is a personal friend. He's a coworker. So he and I are personal friends. And it's a lot of fun. Add you into the mix as a comedian, I'm thinking it could get pretty funny.
Yeah, I'd enjoy that. All
I'll
right,
talk
so
to him tonight.
let's wrap it up for the today, and tell everyone where they can find your podcast, and we'll head on out.
All right. Well, on Spotify, it's just Delusional Podcast. Um, Delusional Podcast on pretty much all social media. Pretty much
with
it's the same, yeah.
with the underscore.
Well, on some of them, there's an underscore in different places. But
Uh,
for the most part, the easiest way to find all my media links is just to go to Delusional Pod or Corey Adam, and then for the nickname it says Delusional Podcast, and all my links are on Facebook for Delusional Podcast. All my
okay.
links.
I'll put the links also in the bottom of this podcast in case people have trouble. And we'll try to do this again. I'm sure people love this podcast and want to get more of it. So
Hell yeah!
subscribe for more and join our community. If you want to be on the show, reach out and we'll be talking to all of you soon. Thanks
And
again for coming.
and if you're watching, Harrison rocks. Make sure you smash that like and follow for my boy.
Smash it. But don't smash your whole computer because then you can't listen to the podcast.
Yeah, no nerd raging Hulk smash type smash. Maybe tippy tap it.
They don't make those keyboards like they used to. So smash it very lightly.
Or tippy tap it.
And we'll see you soon from the HCast.